What's up everybody, it's Chris back at it again. Today I'm going to talk about my 30-day challenge consisting of 100 pull-ups, 100 burpees, and 100 squats every day within 20 minutes. That's 3,000 reps of each exercise, 9,000 reps combined. If you find the content of this video useful, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing, and turning on the notification bell. Let's just get one question out of the way. Why? You know, it's a commonplace to think that if you sustain an effort, the same effort, day after day after day, it will lead to a point of diminishing returns. I thought of it the same way too, but I didn't care. I just wanted to do a challenge. The sustained effort of strength and endurance. Another thing, for this challenge, my aim was not to reach a body transformation, lose weight, get more definition in the abs. My sole purpose was to focus on the 300 reps every day and get them done under 20 minutes. My worst time was 19 minutes 51 seconds, and my best time, I couldn't even believe it myself, was 11 minutes 58 seconds. No! Can you all see this? I did all of these sessions with a camera in front of me. I have a playlist, you can click on it below. I had my ups and downs. I went through really good phases and really bad phases. I did take a picture every day, and I have a time lapse that I will show you where you can see the changes in my body. I want to talk about how I prepared for this challenge, the strategies I applied, the things that happened to my body during the 30 days. And last but not least, I want to talk about what I learned from doing a 30-day challenge. So let's come to point number one, how I prepared for this whole challenge. The most important thing was, one, that I had a pull-up bar. And two, that I had 30 days where I knew I wasn't going to leave my house. That would lead to a situation where I had to look for a pull-up bar. I did not want that. Those were the most important things of how I prepared. What was my strategy? Basically, I wanted to do the challenge in a challenging way. I mean, 300 reps was already challenging enough, but since I had already done this session on several occasions, I knew that I was moving around the 20-minute time frame. So I said to myself, never go over 20 minutes. And the second part of my strategy was to complete this session the earliest as possible. Every day I did this either before my family woke up or after I had dropped my daughter off at school. Get your session done the earliest possible, and then it's done. You have nothing to think about anymore. Now let's talk about the things that happened to my body during the 30 days of this challenge. Did I see any changes? As a matter of fact, I did see changes. My shoulders got rounder, my traps started to bulge. I did get a little bit leaner. I did not weigh myself, and I did not count my calories. That was not the purpose of my challenge. I had a motto, and that was focus on the skill and the rest will follow. During the first days, the DOMs in my legs were pretty hard. They were not hard enough so that I would have trouble going upstairs or whatnot, but it was quite noticeable. After 3, 4, 5 days, I would say the 5th day actually, I had no more DOMs. The skin in my hands felt really tender to the touch because of the pull-ups. I think I was probably just swinging around a little bit and creating friction. But then eventually I did notice that if I lock the middle finger with my thumb, I would not swing around so much, and this would eventually lead to me adapting to a certain position on the pull-up bar. After day 7, day 8, I was recovering within 24 hours. And that was a big turning point for me, because then I said to myself, okay, Now, how do you make this session more intense? The only thing I could do to make a session more intense was try to go faster. I had a PB on this session and it was 14 minutes and 50 seconds. I set myself the goal of trying to beat this personal best, which I thought was already, boom, right up there. I beat that PB. As a matter of fact, I did about 3 or 4 PBs. My best time was 11 minutes and 58 seconds. I had a standard of completing this session at around 14 to 16 minutes, sometimes 17 minutes. 17 minutes would allow me to go easier through the day, not feel the lactic acid consuming my body, making me feel a little bit overtrained, because there were a couple of occasions where I felt overtrained, especially when I went running and when I went climbing. My posture felt incredibly stable. I felt elongated. And this is just a somatic evaluation. I was standing taller, I was standing wider. The only way I could explain this to myself was to acknowledge the fact that my pull-ups were getting highly neglected. Another thing that I noticed was that my traps were bulging. I was only taking pictures of the front. I turned around and I took a picture, and this is what it looks like. I really did not know I had traps this size. And I think that was a result of this challenge. I did get more tone, more muscle mass, specifically in the areas that were being pushed the most. Okay, so now let's take a look at this time lapse. The time lapse shows every single picture of the 30 days from beginning to end in a chronological order. Is this a major change? No, but it is a change. And it just goes to show you that 30 days is a good time frame to induce a proper change in your metabolism, in the way you feel, in the way you experience fatigue, and in the way you experience strength above all. Now we've reached point number 4. What did I learn from a 30-day challenge? I learned a lot of things, but one thing stuck with me, and it's extremely simple, yet truly powerful. Repetition leads to efficiency. Practice something, one rep after the other, day in, day out. You will learn to do this thing more efficiently. I used to have trouble completing the 100 pull-ups. Now it's not a problem. I learned how to do them efficiently. Obviously, I got a little bit stronger, but I know how to invest less strength, less effort in order to get more now. Efficiency opens up the doors for strategies. For example, you're at a point where you're efficient at the pull-ups, the burpees, and the squats. So now you start to look for its and bits that you might consider dropping in order to get faster. I always used to hit my stomach before I go into the burpee. If you do that 100 times, and let's say it just takes half a second, if you drop that, you're gonna get faster. Another example, every time I would come up from the squat, I would have my arms right beside me. So I started to change the strategy, and instead of getting up with my arms to the side, I would already start lifting them when I was going up on the squat. 100 times avoiding this movement is shaving time off your session. You know, I had never reached a sub 13, and that was my goal. Sub 13, sub 13, sub 13. And one day I felt really good, so I decided to go just full kahuna on it. And when I saw my watch, I was like, no way. I thought I had misinterpreted my watch, and I saw 11:58. But then I thought to myself, that can't be. It was 12:58. So I even showed the watch up to the screen in disbelief because I was confused. Did I see 11:58? Was it 12:58? Well, either way, it was sub 13. 11:58 was possible. First, because I did push. Yeah, I mean, efficient or not, at some point you need to push, and that just gets hard. You know, it's an extra effort to push hard and hard and hard consistently, 300 reps with no rest. Everything I did was unbroken. Besides focusing on my skill, which was the pull-ups, the burpees, and the squats, I realized that there's also a skill of getting to each of one of these movements. So it's a skill to go up the pull-up bar and do a pull-up, then lower yourself, but it's also a skill to transition into the burpee and to transition back into the squat, and from the squat up to the pull-up. So I became very aware also of the elements of my session. And with elements, I mean different things, right? So first of all, the structure you're given. I have a pull-up bar, I have a door frame with a 0.5 centimeter high step. This step, I had never thought about it, but if I go up from the burpee too strong, I sometimes hit my toes against it. I always do this session barefoot. By necessity, I became aware of this element. Other elements were hand placement. Right at the beginning, day 3, 4, or 5, I noticed that my skin was very tender. And it was due to me moving around a little bit on the bar. But eventually what helped was that I grabbed the pull-up bar and I locked with the thumb. Another element I learned from was my breathing pattern. My breathing pattern was all over the place in the beginning. I was just breathing, right? But when you go faster, breathing becomes an element that leads to efficiency in the transitions of the single movements. But as I got faster and faster, I realized that it's better for me to exhale after the hard part of a movement. This was a game changer. It was a real game changer because I was gassing out. And the reason I was gassing out is because I wasn't getting enough air. So if you want to go faster, you need to develop a good breathing pattern. How do you reach that level? By repetition. Every day, try it out. Try new things out. Drop other things. You know, repetition creates an environment for you to experiment with. And some things work better than others. Some things that work good for me might not work for you. So give yourself the opportunity to experiment and find out what breathing pattern works the best for you. Giving yourself a challenging time limit, in my case 20 minutes, creates positive pressure. And I really need positive pressure sometimes to push. And positive pressure fuels your motivation. So the last thing on my list of things that I learned from doing this challenge, I learned to behave a certain way after each session that would allow me to feel better and recovered for the next one. Drinking lots of water, eating properly, but above all, resting properly, sleeping properly. I remember one of these sessions, I spent 2 or 3 days with bad sleep, and the third day was really affected by it. But this third day, I slept over 10 hours. And the next day, I just felt amazing, and that's when I reached one of my PBs. So focusing on behavior that would allow you to recover is absolutely fundamental for such a challenge. A 30-day challenge is an amazing thing. You know, it challenges your consistency, it challenges your patience, it challenges your approach to everyday life. But completing such a challenge is a testimony to your consistency. I just wanted to prove myself I can do it. I wanted to see if I can get better and better day after day, and I did. I mean, my PB of 11 minutes 58 seconds, that one I reached on day 29 of the challenge, not right at the beginning. As a matter of fact, I was really slow in the beginning, and then I started getting faster and faster and faster. As for now, I'm really happy this challenge is over with. Will I have another challenge in the future? I don't know. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on having fun. I stay true to my practice. I don't stick to the amount of reps I do every time, the amount of time I invest every week. No, I just try to stay loyal to my practice. That's the most important thing. And doing the 30-day challenge helped me ingrain the attitude that would make me feel happy to invest time in my practice. So now I'm very grateful of finishing this challenge, of the things I've learned, the people I've learned on this community through YouTube, the positive feedback, it's all part of it. So if you want to give yourself a challenge, just go for it. Plan it, execute it, learn from it, and you'll become a better person, even if you fail. Because if you fail and you feel bad about it, maybe that will give you the incentive to try it out again. Stick with it, try it out, believe in yourself, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to finish your challenge. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep repping, keep grinding. Peace out.